What is up, everybody? It's finally here. Week 1 of the NFL. It's a gorgeous time to be alive, all things considered. Coming to you, recording this on a very humid Sunday, but can't complain. Football is back in our lives, and I'm very thankful. There were I was pretty much in two games. Two games was going on today. One was week 1 of our fantasy league. My Stockton Slappers were going against Kyler, the creator, Thomas's team. Man, it was looking good from about 8 o'clock this morning to about 4:15. And then Thomas started turning it on. Jared Cook had about a 40-yard reception. Never looked back. Both the Saints and Thomas's team right now has a 33-point lead on me, 164 to 131. I do still have a chance, though I don't know how likely it is. I got John Connor on deck tomorrow night against the New York Football Giants. If the football gods are smiling on us, then John Connor will treat the Giants like John Connor treats Skynet. I need 35 big ones, 35 smackaroos, John. If you could get that done for me, I'd be eternally grateful. But besides that, the real game that mattered today was your game of the week, Sunday Night Football. The grand opening of SoFi Stadium, also known as Stan Canyon. The Dallas Cowboys came to town. Everybody had picked against us. When I say us, of course I mean my Los Angeles Rams. And if you're listening to this podcast, then guess what? They're your Los Angeles Rams too. Everybody was doubting us. Everybody had questions going in. We answered him. We answered him in full. I was really impressed with how we played today. Very impressed. Where do we begin? In the offseason, there was a big turnover at the running back position for our Rams. Todd Gurley, who had been one of our best franchise running backs. We have a long history of great running backs. Marshall Faulk, Eric Dickerson, Steven Jackson, who is, in my opinion, the best out of all three. Talking about a franchise that even drafted Jerome Bettis. People weren't sure how a running game was going to look. I was confident. I've been watching Malcolm Brown hold down the number 2 spot behind Todd Gurley for the last 5 years. He got his chance today. First NFL start. Malcolm Brown, 18 carries, 2 touchdowns, 79 yards. I believe he had around 30 receiving yards as well. Man, he ran with the nastiness and intensity that was paramount in our victory over the Cowboys. And behind a offensive line that was aggressive and strong, and really, them Hogs were bullying the defensive front of the Cowboys, with the exception of Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith, quick shout out to him. 5 years removed from the game. If you follow the NFL, then you know Aldon Smith's story. He had some personal troubles. Man, he looked great tonight. Real happy for Aldon Smith. May have had a sack. I know he had a couple hurries. He made some key stops. But all in all, wasn't enough. O-line for the offensive Rams played cohesive, played strong, played nasty, and were opening up some giant gaps for Malcolm Brown to find holes in. Cam Akers was getting some rotational PT. We drafted him, I believe, with our 54 pick in the second round. Obviously we're going to be looking to Cam Akers to fill in a bigger role as the season progresses. I really like Cam Akers receiving out of the backfield. He has real soft hands, and I think that showed out tonight. But in the off season, in preparation for this season, a lot of people are shitting on the Rams' offensive line without taking in consideration the injuries we had last year. And even with the injuries we had last year, we were still one of the better offensive lines in protecting Jared Goff, as the Rams were one of the best teams in not allowing sacks last year. But we did struggle in the running game. That's where those injuries came into play. And what we saw tonight was a healthy offensive line playing in unison, really just bullying the Cowboys' defensive front. Man, I was so impressed. I was so fucking impressed. Jared Goff, man, I thought Jared looked pretty smooth too. I was impressed with Jared. He was getting the ball out of there quick, and I thought he made some pretty good decisions. And he followed the game plan. The game plan set by Sean McVay to neutralize the pass rushers of the Dallas Cowboys was to utilize the flats, short, intermediate routes. Get behind them linebackers quick. Man, I thought we did that. No, that was no more evident than on the very first drive when we were hitting Robert Woods, shallow routes, and the trust that Sean McVay has in our receivers to get that yak. Get that yak, boy. Man, Robert Woods, I believe, had somewhere between 6 to 8 receptions, about 105 receiving yards. Balled out. Balled the fuck out. Man, Sean McVay, for some reason, there was a weird turn in the attitude towards our Rams. There, once upon a time, we were we were an afterthought of the NFL. Bottom of the barrel. No one paid us no mind. Sean McVay comes to town. Les Snead had already been there for a little bit. Sean McVay comes to town, turns around the entire franchise, makes us perennial playoff contenders. Even last year, we were in playoff contention to the very end of the season, and we had a winning record, 9-7. So I'm not entirely sure where the hate comes from. Part of me thinks it was, we left St. Louis. St. Louis is a great sports town. St. Louis deserves a professional football team. It's just not the Rams. The Rams are the premier team of the southern half of California. Not the Chargers. Sorry about it. But it's the truth. I also think part of the hate, and Marco helped illuminated this for me, is some of the deals we make. We kind of wheel and deal like we're the Los Angeles Lakers. But, your franchise has to encapsulate the attitude of your city. Los Angeles is Hollywood. We're about stars. We're about winning now. That's the attitude in LA. What are you doing for me now? I mean, Rams got to follow suit. And I think I think we look good. I think we look great. We played a real smash mouth form of football tonight, man. On the defensive side, you can't talk about the Rams defense without talking about the best player in the NFL of the last 10 years, a double-A, double nines, Aaron Donald. Arguably the best defensive lineman of all time. Yeah, I went there. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit, 7 hurries. But you cannot measure the greatness of Aaron Donald simply by his statistics. Aaron Donald is much like Randy Moss. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, if you remember when Randy Moss went to New England, particularly New England, his presence alone elevated the play of his teammates. Wes Welker would never have been Wes Welker without Randy Moss. Facts. Aaron Donald is of that same ilk. Aaron Donald draws a double team damn near the entire fucking game. What does that do? That allows our other players like Michael Brockers, Leonard Floyd, who both accumulated sacks tonight, to get winnable one-on-one matchups. That's greatness. How you impact the game indirectly. Speaking of the defense, our defense came up with 2 key stops tonight, and I need to highlight them. Jordan Fuller, safety, rookie, Ohio State. I see you, young man. The Cowboys had taken it down to the red zone with an opportunity to tie it. It was 4th down, 4th and short. Mike McCarthy decides to go for it. CeeDee Lamb runs a shallow, I think it was a 2-step cross. Might have been a shallow, 2-step slant. Might have been a shallow crossing route, like a drag. Jordan Fuller maneuvers around traffic, makes a beautiful open field tackle to switch possessions. That's how you earn a roster spot. That is legit safety play. That encapsulates the entire term of the position. Safety. The safety net. I see you, Jordan Fuller. Hell of a play, young man. Can't talk about the Rams defense without talking about Ramsey. Can't spell Ramsey without Rams. 2 plays. 2 key plays. One of which controversial, the other not controversial at all. It was like a shallow out route, a 3 to 5 step out route. Amari Cooper turns towards the sideline, catches the ball. Kablooey! Hit stick. Jalen Ramsey forces the ball out on a 3rd down. Would have given the Cowboys the conversion they needed to drive down the field. No, sir. No, sir. Trap coverage. It was originally ruled a catch and fumble. It was overturned to a pass defense, an incomplete pass. Man, love seeing that. Love seeing cornerbacks who are nasty get in there and make open field tackles. Put the shoulders down. Helmet to the chest. That's that shit I like. Second play. This play might have decided the game. If not the game, then this play could have forced a tie, which then could have forced overtime. Michael Gallup, who's a very solid receiver, very solid, very underrated. Arguably, at the end of this season, maybe even the beginning of next season, could be the Cowboys' number 1 receiver. I believe in Michael Gallup. Makes a fly route? Deep route on Jalen Ramsey. He does have a hand on Jalen Ramsey, but there's no real clear, definitive offensive pass interference. But here's where the veteran play of Jalen Ramsey comes in. He knows he has a hand on him. He knows the game's on the line. So what does the man do? Oh, he sells it. He sells it. Hollywood, baby. The Oscar goes to Jalen Ramsey. I'll take it. I'll take it all day. I love that shit. Whatever it takes. Give me that. Ended up being an offensive pass interference. Pretty much sealed the game for the Rams. What do I like to see going forward? I would like to see the offense open up a little bit more. I do feel, we could go deeper early on in the game. Man, I tell you what, I think the Rams are the best play-action bootleg team in the NFL. Hands down, bar none. I really believe that. I think going forward, and it might have been just considering how good the pass rush of the Dallas Cowboys is, DeMarcus Lawrence, all-pro, Aldon Smith, reckon he's going to have an all-pro year. Jalen Smith is a stout inside linebacker. But going forward, I really think we could open the offense up, hit some of those deeper intermediate routes, some post, some corners. Hit Cooper Kupp on a post route. That's some money. That's some money. Speaking of money, Cooper Kupp got extended 3 years. I see you. I'm glad to have Cooper Kupp around, man. Cooper Kupp is a G. Besides that, man, hell of a game. Hell of a game. Hell of a day for football, too. There were good games across the board. I'm sure we'll do a more in-depth recap on the Closers podcast. But looking forward, next week, September the 20th, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, they stunk it up today. Blew a 17-point lead against the Washington Football Club. I think it sounds cooler than football team. I'm going to go Washington Football Club. Washington had about 8 sacks today, I believe. Chase Young, who's an absolute stud, had a sack fumble. Whew. That's a scary man. But I'm not a big believer in Washington's offense, especially Dwayne Haskins. But going forward, here's what the Rams' next 3 games look like. Philadelphia, Buffalo, New York Football Giants, and then finally the Washington Football Club. Those are the next 4. I might have said 3. Those are the next 4. And out of those 4 games, I really see probable victories against Philadelphia, New York, and Washington. Buffalo's tricky. That's a coin flip. That's a pick'em game so far right now. Buffalo looked good today. Trust me, I know. I got 4 Buffalo Bills on my fantasy team. Foolishly, I only started 3. I should have sat Devin Singletary and started John Brown. But Josh Allen is a stud. A dual threat quarterback, man, truly. 300 passing yards, 2 pass touchdowns, 50 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD. Dual threat quarterbacks are the new currency of NFL offenses. Or at least they may be going forward. But I really can see us maybe going 4-1 into San Francisco, our first divisional game. Optimistically 5-0. Man, if only. But the beautiful thing is, ladies and gentlemen, football is back. And I am grateful. Count your blessings. Especially in times like these. Count your blessings. What are you grateful for? Beyond football, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for this bottle of Cellular Jerry that got me through that tense Rams Cowboys game. And, yeah. Man, it's going to be a fun fall and winter. Football is back. That definitely deserves a Ric Flair. Woo! With that being said, I don't know a perfect note to end that on. Woo! Having a hard time keeping these alligators down. With that being said, finally I'm dragging it out. Be smart, stay safe, God bless, and I will see you all next week.